everybody. I'm Jamie.
I'm Justina.
And this is
Just So You Know.
Just so you know.
You didn't say just so you know the last time with me.
I know.
And I was like, grr.
I know, but then I picked up halfway.
You were like, no.
You would think that after doing this intro hundreds of times, I would have it by now, but I don't.
Why? Get it to go.
I like hearing you say it.
Okay.
Every time people like say, just so you know, in a conversation, I'm like, oh my God, that's our podcast.
Yeah, we're like, just so you know, just so you know is our podcast.
Mm-hmm. Just so you know, it's a good name. So just so you know, today's podcast episode is going to be about how to win every vegan conversation with a non-vegan. We're going to give you the tips.
Giving you the tips, but we all know that like winning is relative, but just to guide you in feeling confident in what to say. Because I feel like you and I both always say, you looking at my hair again. What's going on?
Okay.
What's happening?
I think you look gorgeous. No.
Okay,
I was just looking at how the hair tie is like tied.
It's like literally on a string of hair. It's literally like this. It's like a little crackhead.
That's what I noticed.
It's like hanging there. It's like.
No, it's amazing. It's a kind of a piece
It's
of
okay.
art. It's like you have the same hairstyle here.
I see. It looks like me.
I am crying. Well, I just need that black hat.
You do have a black hat like that.
Should we tell them a little bit about this situation here?
This everyone thinks she's talking about that's cleavage, but it's not. It's just the collarbone. But I don't know what this is. Okay,
why are your collarbones down here?
Let's address this painting. This was actually done by a fan of ours, fresh out of high school. This was part of his senior project and decided to paint us.
I love how he got the eyeliner. Like he definitely did the cat eye.
Right. Literally, someone was like, this doesn't look like you, but does this look like your friend? And I was like, you know what?
Low-key.
Got her makeup done. Got her makeup done right.
Yeah. I mean, the pitchfork isn't too far off either.
Yeah. But it's not for animals. It's for people. Just kidding.
He's got the pink nails.
He's got your little pink claws. He gave you like those long nails. Oh, your nails are really long right now.
And I just cut them.
They kind of do look scary. So keep them down.
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
I gotta paint them pink.
I get nervous when people have long nails. I'm like, you're gonna scratch me and that's gonna piss me off. But I love my outfit, low key. A little sweater, a little skirt.
Yeah, I feel like you would wear something like that. You definitely do your hair like that. We need to put a little flower in. Okay, so I'm glad that we finally explained this, but
yeah.
we love them. So thank you,
If you want to be a part of our third season, paint us and we will feature your artwork. We love artwork. If you're a fan, like just draw us like one of your French girls.
Oh.
Except not. Like,
and maybe we'll be, instead of in colonial outfits.
Yeah, we could change the decade.
We can change the vibe.
Yeah, we could be more modern maybe too. You know, whatever. But what I was going to say before Jamie was staring at my hair in judgment. The hell?
I love your hair.
Anyway, thank you. Was that we always feel like the vegan argument is just not like, it's no question we win because if we want to make it about winning or not winning, because it's like, how can you fight wanting to save animals? You can't. You literally cannot. So it's like, just know that immediately you are on the winning side. You are on the loving side. These are just some things that we've learned or gathered that help you feel more confident.
This episode is more so about handling the excuses that your friends, your family that aren't yet vegan will have and what they will confront you with. And I wish that 8 years ago when I first went vegan that I listened to this podcast episode, because trust me, I went through a lot of trial and error when it came to how to eloquently explain these issues that animals are facing. And ultimately, I think I drove people away.
Yeah, definitely. I've definitely drove people away because I get so caught up with the emotion.
Yeah.
And I get so angry. I'm like, oh, so I can't teach you empathy, you know? And so I get so frustrated that I don't know how to like relax and focus on like the things that are going to actually help that person be more open-minded. So I definitely did this episode as well right now.
So we do have a list of concrete examples and things that you can do starting today that will help guide these conversations and help to also not put people in the defensive, but help them be actually want to hear you out and navigate this conversation that can be uncomfortable at times.
Definitely.
And we'll get into that of how we go about doing it. But I think really the questions and the thing that we need to ask ourselves first is, are we acting from a place of ego or are we acting from a place of love? So when I go into a conversation, how am I looking at that other person? Am I judging their hair with love? Okay. Or am I going into this conversation actually like rooting for them?
Right.
So am I like saying, you know, this person's a murderer, they're stupid, I hate them? Or am I saying like, I could see this person as a potential ally? Like where can we find some sort of common ground to work off of?
Exactly.
And go from there.
Exactly. Do you want to go back and forth on our little tips?
Let's go back and forth, yeah.
Well, one of the first things that comes to mind is not necessarily winning the argument, but like winning the person's mindset, right? So it's like helping them pause for a second and like have them question things and like figure out how to make them curious, you know? Like, for example, I have down the best vegan argument isn't the one that shuts someone down. It's the one that keeps them thinking about it after the conversation. You know, like I think one of the best reason or the best examples is asking someone like, why aren't you vegan?
That's number one.
What's stopping you?
Asking them questions. Instead of telling them how to feel, ask them questions to guide the conversation using the Socratic method. So let's give them a few examples.
Okay.
So you start talking to somebody in a conversation, maybe not right off the bat, why aren't you vegan? But if you, let's say, come across like animal footage of like, this is what we do at Anonymous for the Voiceless. One of the first things that I'll ask somebody is like, do you know what we're doing here? And then maybe they'll say, yeah, you're showing footage of the animals. I will ask them flat out, how does this make you feel? Because just to gauge, how do they feel about it?
That's true.
And then from there, why do you think this is happening to animals? And do you think there is anything that we can do to stop it?
Right. Giving them the power in their hands.
Exactly.
Making them feel seen and not dismissing their emotions.
And so to kind of add on to your point of first ask the questions, to relate to them.
Right.
To then say, wait a second, I was there too.
Right.
Like, oh my God, my iron was low growing up. And then actually, like through my experience of going vegan, I was able to increase my levels and I'm better than ever.
Right.
They can't argue your personal story or your experience.
Right.
So I think finding that relatability, people want to be heard. So you could repeat what they just said.
Yeah. That's great.
Repeating what they just said, or you could even say, so if I'm understanding correctly, it sounds to me like, you know, you love to work out. And so protein is one of your goals. Like one thing that I've said to people in that situation is, would you be open to like learning some sources of protein that seem to align more with your values of loving animals?
Right. Because you have to do the research anyway, right? You're researching a different animal-based proteins. Then do the research of the non-animal based proteins.
Exactly.
You're doing it anyway. So like just change gear.
On that same note, they'll sometimes bring up budget and I'll say, well, it sounds to me like you're good at budgeting. If you do it now, why can't you just create a list that budgets not using products that harm animals?
Right.
Yeah.
And those are usually cheaper.
Way
and we're
cheaper.
not talking about the meat substitutes and not substitutes, alternatives.
Yeah.
You know, that is a completely different situation. But
Whole Foods
beans
plant-based
are cheap. You know, like if you compare like mushrooms and, you know, an animal body part, it's relatively the same or cheaper. It's just like educating yourself. Like my next thing is just to keep it simple, because I know that like I can say one thing and then I'll say another thing and then I'll say another thing and then I'll say another thing and then they're like, whoa, girl, stop preaching to me, girl. And I'm like, I need to learn how to keep it simple. And so like a line that I have down is that, okay, you could say, if we don't need to harm animals to live well, why would we choose to? So it's just like a simple, logical question. And I think that's what we keep saying, like questions are the best because it gives the other person that weight of having to answer.
If you overwhelm somebody consistently with like fact after fact after fact, you've lost them.
Yeah.
We have the facts, we have the science, the data is there to support that a plant-based diet is more ethical, it's more sustainable, it's healthier. We know that.
Right.
And hopefully they will go into looking into these things for themselves at some point. But studies show that people, I'll say two things. One thing is people don't always remember what you said, but they will remember how you made them feel.
Right. Classic.
The second thing is people will always remember a story with substance and that feeling. They don't remember the facts.
Right.
So, and that those two kind of tie together, and these are studies that show this.
Yeah, and if you associate like a positive feeling, that will without a doubt connect whatever information you're sharing with them with something positive, even if they're reacting to it negatively in your perspective. If they come out of that with feeling some sort of positivity, their brain could confuse them like, oh wait, that was a good conversation or a good moment to have.
As opposed to every time they hear the word vegan, they think of your demon
That
face.
crazy girl that was yelling at me and my daughter.
Another tip that I have is to separate the person from the problem. So instead of saying you are the reason that this animal is suffering, you can say something like, we've been conditioned from the time that we're born to love one animal and eat another.
Right.
So by using the word we, you frame it as like, okay, we're in this together. I'm not blaming you. It's like a systematic problem.
Yeah, I feel like I said something like that the other day and someone was like, not you. And I'm like, I have to say we because I am a human. And two, if I am acting like I'm outside of this, people instantly get defensive. So I have to include myself in it because I also wasn't born vegan. So at some point I was a part of the system that did not prioritize the well-being of animals. So it's like, yeah, include yourself in there. This is a collective doing. You know?
Totally. I think when you come across as humble,
Yeah.
authentic, genuine, you can talk about where you've messed up, you become more relatable.
Yeah.
It's suddenly not like an us versus them, but instead it's us versus the system. It's us versus the problem and how can we work together.
Exactly.
That is way more powerful.
It is powerful. I mean, I feel like when people step down and become more vulnerable, and something that I need to work on, they also include themselves in it at some point in their lives that they've been in my situation, I soften up. I'm like, okay, so you get it. And there is another side to it. You can come out of this. So when you include yourself in it, just makes it feel more relatable, like you said. My next thing is staying calm. This is something I need to work on. Is this staying calm? Because you will get people who challenge you, that provoke you and start getting nasty and start freaking out because they just don't know how to handle the truth that you're providing them, that they completely trigger you. You start losing your focus on what you were trying to say. So like trying to stay calm as best as possible will lead you down a better, more effective path.
Suddenly it becomes about the way you said it as opposed to what you're saying.
Literally.
And then they definitely don't listen to you.
Literally.
So staying calm, I think, is probably one of the most important things.
Yes.
And you should be able to stay calm because you're in the right. Like you have the facts, you have the science on your side. And ultimately, when you come from a place of calmness, you create a calm environment around you.
100%.
If somebody's like kind of coming at you in a nasty way and you respond in a way that is just kind and soft, usually that person will change their tone.
Right, because people match energies. I match energy too. And like, I say it to you sometimes. Like sometimes I'm like, whoa, Jamie. The reason why I'm sassy is because you were sassy, okay? So like, let's calm it down because it's just intuitive. If someone's barking at you, even if you were not planning on barking, you probably will. So it's important to take the power and be a leader and say, this is a peaceful manner, a peaceful subject. We're gonna go about it in a calm way.
And then it's like, please. And it's like, if you don't give them ammunition, right? They can't look back at the conversation and discredit what you were saying because you were kind to them. You were nice. Like, they can't then say, well, you know, you called me this name and then they just
love to do that.
And then they just focus on that as opposed to like the actual issue on hand.
The gaslighters.
Yeah.
They're freaking manipulators. And then that could also trigger you even more into whatever emotion that you're living in that's not calm. Because I know for me, whenever someone's like, look at the way you're saying this, I'm like, okay, but you're not listening to what I'm saying. And then I get even more angry because I'm like, wait, the only reason why I got crazier is because you were not listening to me. And now you're focused on that. So now a double fuck you. And it's like, okay. Let me just like not even take the bait.
No. So what do you do in that situation when you feel yourself getting angry and wanting to explode? Like, how do we provide them with an actual tangible strategy in this situation? Because we're human. We're
right.
Anger.
It's easier to say it and it's harder to do it.
Yeah. So what do you do? Sometimes it's okay to walk away from a conversation. Like, I've ended conversations with people on the street where I'm just like, you know, thank you for your time. I prefer to speak with somebody that's more open-minded. Right. I feel like we're going in circles here.
Yes, that's a good
Have
one.
a nice day.
Right.
And then they're like, it takes them a second to like think about what I just said because I'm saying it nicely, but also I'm letting them know.
Direct.
Yeah, I'm being direct that like this conversation is not going anywhere. I'm trying to offer and just invite you to consider another perspective. I'm not forcing a veggie burger down your throat.
Right.
I'm being respectful. You don't want to hear it. Then maybe you're just not ready to hear it. And I'm not going to waste my time talking to one person in circles when I could be talking to 5 other people who are open-minded and willing to change.
100%. I think for me, it's kind of like, sometimes if I'm in a good place, I try not to think about the animals. And I try to look at somebody who is trapped, like the person, and I'm like, okay. I think me saying okay, I say even to my dogs, I'm like, it's okay. And so even if I don't agree, I think for me, the best first step is to be like, okay.
I hear what you're saying.
It kind of soothes me to be like, okay, we're calming down. And then I try to pivot on something that kind of goes into my next thing. Like I try to figure out where we might align. Yeah. Like where our moral values could possibly align. And just start with it, okay. And it's kind of like a mental note, like, okay, this is not going well. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about this?
That ties into like finding that moral consistency, like where you can see what they care about, see what they align with, then use that to drive the point home. So like somebody, one example would be where they say that they have a dog at home, they really love their dog, and then you could say, you know, you're a really caring person. Like unlike a lot of people I talk to, you actually understand that animals feel fear, feel pain, feel joy
You're
and
good
happiness.
at that. That's a really good trick. That's a really good tip. It's like complimenting that person.
Yes.
Because literally my college teacher used to say that all the time. She's like, flattery will get you everywhere. Because she loved to be flattered. But
I mean
that's
it.
just true.
I mean it.
Yeah, you can mean it or you cannot mean it. But like any way you can like make them feel good about themselves, because pointing out that they're not vegan or what their actions are is bad. They're like, oh, you think I'm a bad person. You think I'm a bad person. So as much as you could compliment them, and like you said, like, sounds like you're a caring person. You care about your dog.
Yes.
That kind of makes them feel seen.
Totally. And not only that, like there's kind of general things that as you have more conversations with non-vegans or future vegans, you'll start to realize like most people are against intensive factory farming.
Yeah.
And then you could say, well, being that you have these values, like how do you apply them to your life? Because 99% of animals are coming from factory farms. And then you could get deeper and say, okay, well, what exactly are you against of these treatments? Like you're against confining them and maybe like the mutilation of like their tails and their teeth and things like that. But is that worse than slitting a throat? Like
exactly
positioning it that way.
That leads to the next thing I was going to say, like using curiosity instead of judgment.
Yes.
That's a great example, because then it makes them go, I never thought about that. I never thought about it in that way. Like the goal, obviously, yes, to make people vegan. But I think for me, the ultimate goal is to just get them curious about it. Because that's just like anything that you've ever been passionate about. It started with curiosity. It started with going, I don't know why I want to know more about this, but I do. And like once they're like, I really don't know about how farm factory situations go down, and maybe once they start leave that argument with you, they'll go back home and they're like, let me look this shit up. You know, because that curiosity spark has been ignited.
And if you are curious about the other person and what they're saying, there's a potential you might not know something either.
Yeah.
So that is very okay. And
I love that.
That actually is very humbling, because then you could say, you know what, I'm not sure and I will look into it. Like, thank you for bringing that to my attention. And then drive it back to your, but okay, can we agree that what's happening to these animals, like, can we agree that that's, you know, so then bringing the point back, but being open to being wrong in certain points and situations. Like we don't have to know everything.
It actually works to your benefit. Because I mean, for me, I am not a big numbers person. I don't know a lot of these doctors' names. I don't know anybody's names, for that matter. And so when they are like, well, do you know the percentage of da-da-da-da? And I know they're wrong, probably, most likely. But I'm like, I actually don't know the percentage. But that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I don't know the amount of children that are being whatever, but if your daughter is, that's enough, right? So it's like, we don't need to know every fact in order to win a vegan argument.
It's always about bringing it back to, how would you feel if this happened to you? And if there is an individual that doesn't want to die, is there a right way to do that? And thinking of it from the victim's point of view. Is this issue black and white? Like, from their point of view, I would say so.
Yeah.
If I were that cow hanging upside down in a slaughterhouse with my throat slit, like, I wouldn't want somebody saying that it's okay because I was grass fed, you know?
I wish people really thought about it like that. It's like, well, I make sure. Oh my God. That's one of the, I immediately start not doing what I'm saying, which is like staying calm. When they're like, well, I make sure it's local, grass fed. I'm like, babe, how is that any better?
No.
Be like, oh, well, this girl, at least she has a pillow. Oh. She's in my basement, chained up. But I gave that bitch pillows and filtered water. Totally. And you know what? Last week I asked her if she wanted Chipotle.
That is so nice of you.
Right. Thank you. And then 1 second, let me go beat her ass right now. You know, like, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. But if you share a personal story, that could help someone understand the message a little more, right? So with that horrible example I just gave, if I'm like, well, my sister was chained up and beat down, you know, then they're like, oh my God, your sister? And all of a sudden the eyes start opening up a little bit, the heart starts opening up a little bit, because they've had a moment to like humanize you and then realize that like there's more to just winning, you know, there's some depth and it matters, and it's very personal.
And we're gonna hear the same excuses over and over again. There's probably the same 20 excuses that people use to defend their choice to continue eating animals, wearing animals, and using them.
When they're like, animals eat animals, and like, you're like, okay.
So my advice would be to actually learn the responses to those and learn the information, do your research. Like when I first went vegan and started getting into activism, I had no idea what I was talking about. And actually I would get flustered if people would ask me questions about why I was vegan, because I didn't really know how to answer it. And then they'd bring up, you know, but lions eat animals, isn't it part of the food chain? And then I'm like, I don't know how to answer this. But through watching YouTubers and Earthling Ed had an ebook that was talking about how to answer these things. I was like, oh, wait, that actually makes sense. And I just practiced, and I would go to a lot of Anonymous for the voiceless cubes. And throughout the years, like you get more, you develop your voice and your style of communicating and see what works, see what doesn't work.
Yeah. And what resonates with you more, because there's certain reasonings that just don't feel as authentic coming from your voice, but it's so true. I mean, we're so lucky. Like you grab your phone, you could look at any animal activist speaking up about animals and learn from so many different types of people who are doing the hard work and just seeing how they go about it. It's so true. I forgot, you probably know who it is. That one Notorious interview, it was on the news. This one guy, I think he was bald. When they talk about when they talk about the lion or something like that. Yeah, I mean, he was calm. He was very level-headed, and he kind of reflected it back at them. He was like, well, I'm not a lion, and neither are you. And I can't remember.
Did you sniff my ass when I walked into the room? And
literally, whoa.
Yeah, it made her look so dumb.
And it's like, he did embarrass the shit out of her, but he did it in such a way that was not disrespectful. It can seem like it is if you want to be defensive, but he quite literally just stated facts. Yeah. That's what animals do. My dog, the moment he gets an opportunity to stick his face in my cat's butthole, he does it. You know what I mean? Like, we cannot compare ourselves. No. You know what I mean?
And no judgment. Like, if that's what he wants to do, then that's okay.
And he might smell something that I just cannot. Right. And maybe it actually smells really freaking good. But guess what? If we want to claim that we're the smarter species, we need to act like it. And killing each other just because we can, and killing those that are lower than us, is just bully mentality.
But how do we even define intelligence? That's the million-dollar question, because your dog's sense of smell is so much greater and more sensitive than ours. Right. So if we're judging intelligence based off of smell, then our dogs would be way more intelligent. Right. In fact, I think humans, if we look at a lot of the things we do, from the destruction of our planet, we're the dumbest species out there.
100%. I have to agree with you on that.
And one thing that you brought up that Gary did was he stayed calm, he stated facts, but another tip is to use humor. And that's kind of what he did too. He exaggerated the situation by talking about lions sniffing each other's buttholes and asking the woman if she would sniff his butt. And so it was funny. And so people watching it, they get the point that he's making, but they're also laughing in the process. So I try to use humor all the time in my advocacy.
You freaking do. That's it. If you can be humorous and still defend animals, like, you are doing something right, because that is difficult for me. Dang, girl, is it good?
Delicious. I just sipped some water. Look, I inhaled.
She had the cup upside down. She was like, there must be a drop in here.
I feel like I'm in the Sahara Desert. I inhaled a burrito the size of my torso before this episode, and I'm so
Jamie
thirsty.
has a tiny torso, okay?
Yeah.
So
it was a lot. Sorry, continue.
that was funny. I didn't say anything. You were talking, I think, or you distracted me so much. You were so into that mug. You were like, your eyes. Sorry.
Come on, they are cute. Look at us.
Look at our little mugs. Look at us.
Look at our
Look at
little
us.
mugs.
Look at us. Oh,
Cuties.
I didn't finish drinking what I was drinking. But yeah, humor. I was saying humor. It's really difficult because this is not a humorous thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really easy to spiral down the path of despair. I mean, I do. Like sometimes I when I don't cry, I'm so fucking proud of myself. I'm like, dang, girl, you're growing. You're growing just a little bit. You didn't cry because it's so sad.
It is.
And it's even sadder for me when I see someone fighting it. I'm like, damn, you don't have to go vegan after this. But why are you fighting this? Mm-hmm. So it's like really, really important to, like I said earlier, just dissociate from like the truth of the animals. And if you can find some way to be silly, like flip what they say and start laughing about it for a moment, it can take away all that tension. Because Lord knows that tension builds so quickly when you're having that freaking debate or discussion.
You're right. It is a very fine line between being inappropriate and being I want to say insensitive about the issue,
Right.
and versus using humor to actually hit the point home more.
What's something off of like what you've done in the past that kind of fits that example?
Okay, so I'll give you an example. One time I was talking to these 3 young guys, and I thought it might be kind of funny to talk about the dairy industry because so many guys are still drinking milk, and it's like, you're an adult, and like, would you breastfeed from your mom now? And so what I did was I started asking them a set of questions, like of group questions. So I'm on their team, you know? I'm like, okay, guys, so would you drink milk from a dog? And they're like, ew, no. And I'm like, no, okay, you wouldn't. Me either. Would you drink milk from a giraffe?
Jamie's
and they're like,
good at trapping people.
They're like, what? Like, they didn't see it coming at first. I'm like, okay, how about this? I said, would you drink milk from like your girlfriend or like, and they're like, probably not.
Dude,
no.
men really want to fucking do that.
Well,
they do.
I think I said a random woman first, and they
that's
were
better.
kind of like, that's weird. And then I said, well, okay, what about your own mom? And they're like, no, like that one, they were like, absolutely not. They were disgusted. And I said, okay, so being that like you wouldn't drink milk from any of these mammals, like what about cows?
Right.
And then they're like, oh.
They're like, you trapped us, you bitch. You trapped us, you bitch.
And then they were kind of using each other's energy to bounce off of that. And they're like, yo, okay, that is weird now that you phrase it that way.
Right, right.
So nobody felt targeted because it was like a group discussion, group topic. And it was like kind of funny and abstract. Like if you bring up the polarities of like giraffe's milk, rat's milk, like things that we
yikes,
you know, and just also the phrasing of it can make it kind of humorous and funny. And I don't think it was insensitive because then when we got to the point of the cows, once I established that credibility with them,
right,
and I'm like, all right, we're bros now, guys, like we're hanging. Then I was able to kind of explain what happens to the cows, and the tone of the conversation changed.
That's
and it
so good.
Became more serious. And I think humor can be even more effective than tears sometimes.
100%. I mean, you nailed it. Like you said that we became bros. I think if it's not like a animal activist situation where you're like passing out flyers, even then, so if you have the opportunity to befriend someone, and kind of Trojan horse it.
Yeah.
Like,
they liked me. They wanted to listen to me.
You got to see you as a person first, not as a activist preacher.
Yes.
You know?
People want to feel like they're discovering it themselves. And that's what good effective activists do, is we almost kind of trick people into thinking that they've come to this themselves.
Right.
I'm like, bitch, I'm the one, like, I've been manipulating
Story of
you.
my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just said that shit. Nothing pisses me off than me saying something and they're like, yes, like da 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 da, and I'm like,
just let
I just
him have
said
it.
that.
Let
I'm
him
like,
have it.
I just said that. Now with the activism stuff, of course, I'm like, yes, repeat it exactly the way I said it. You are so smart. You are. That's exactly right. It's true. You got to let them have it.
And with humor as well, it's interesting. Like, there's a few vegan comedians. There are a few vegan communities out there. There's a few vegan comedians that the way that they phrase it, it really gets you thinking like, okay, this is actually absurd. Like, this one guy gets on the stage and he's like, we've overdone it with cows. And so the audience is listening. They're like, okay, where is he going with this? And he's like, okay, so we impregnate them, and then we take their babies, put the milk in the supermarket shelf, and then put a picture of our children on the milk carton and put missing child. This is what they used to do in the supermarket.
Girl.
And then it's like, while that cow's baby was taken from them so that we could steal the breast milk. And the way he phrased it was so funny because it's so ridiculous.
It's hypocritical.
But it got people laughing in the process. So yes, we can make people cry and tell them all the horrible things that happen in the dairy industry, but there's also a time and place to make them laugh about it, see the absurdity of the situation, and then motivate them to want to change it.
100%. I mean, that just falls under the arts bracket. Like, if you know any films, whether that be like a documentary or if it's a narrative, use those things, because the other day, I forgot who I was talking to, and they really, really were like kind of fighting me on it. And I was like, okay, because I do it for the animals. And then they started talking about health and muscle. And I was like, listen, if that is what you're concerned about, that's what, watch this. And then know exactly where they can watch it and lead them to that. Because sometimes people don't want to be on the spot having these conversations. But if you let them know this really cool movie, this athlete's in there.
Game Changers.
Yeah, I'm like, watch Game Changers. Totally. Literally. They have the science. They have the athletes. It has nothing to do with loving animals. You know what I mean?
I think putting it on them and leaving them with the option of either learning more or not. And so what I like to do with people is sometimes I'll say at the end of a conversation, look, I cannot force you to do anything.
Right.
You are going to lead this conversation. You are going to make decisions. And what you do with this information is on you.
Whoa, that sounds really intense. I felt the pressure. I'm already vegan. I've been like, like, girl, I'm never gonna see you again. Get out of my face.
I hope they think of me in their sleeps. Their
their sleeps. Every sleeps.
In their nightmares.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, someone was screaming at me about eating hamburgers in my dreams. Dude, it honestly, it goes a long way, because there have been many moments where when I also pointing out the truth and like taking away these like stupid words that we've come to hide the truth. Like, you know, my dad was saying like eggs, and I was like, yeah, eggs, those are like, that's the menstrual cycle of these chickens. And that freaks people out.
Or it comes out of one hole.
Yeah. I'm like, coming out of that. I'm like, that's disgusting.
Would you eat my egg if it came out of
hell no.
It would come out of my vagina though, not my butthole.
No, it doesn't matter.
But chickens, it comes out of their butthole.
I don't care. Any type of hole. Even if it came out of your mouth, I'd be like, gross. What the fuck? Get out of my face.
I thought we were friends.
Just like titty milk. Like, I love to say titty milk, and people are like, titty milk? And some guys love to joke about it and be like, well, if it's nipples, then I'm like,
ew.
I just came up with like an activist thing in my brain. I don't know if it's happening. Just like show images of like rat nipples. And you're like, do you like this is sexy?
Oh, that's good.
And you know, like, what do you like? And then the humans, and then you're like, what about the cows? And they're like, ew, and you're like, well, that's what you're fucking drinking. Those nipples. Those are the nipples you're fucking with, bro.
Can we just stay away from nipples when it's non-consensual? I mean, please.
Like, why are men the only, like, ones, like, males are the only ones that don't get their nipples exploited? Like, that's some fucked up shit.
You know, I was at this university talking to students about the dairy industry last year, and I'll never forget this one conversation I had with a guy. And he goes, you know, if you squeeze male nipples hard enough, their milk will come out of it. And I'm like, oh my God, where do I even begin with you?
I'm like, have you been squeezing your nipples really hard, you fucking kinky bitch?
I know. I think it might have been a kinky thing. I have no idea. But then Dr. Faraz came over.
And he said yes?
He's a biomedical engineer. The guy is a scientist. Like, he knows how the body works. And he goes, that's actually impossible. Men do not produce milk.
Yeah.
And the kid was like arguing it.
Yeah, that's one of those moments where another tip, you just walk away. That's what I would do. When they said, I'd be like,
Or you film it for the content.
Serious? Yeah, you film it for the content.
You film it for the content, and then other people that see the video will then be able to hear the point and go vegan.
Right. They're like, yeah, I'm going to sound like that ding dong. Well, I have a quick little quizzy for you. It's multiple choice. Okay?
Can I do one more? My last.
No, please. Give another. My
last tip is that towards the end of the conversation, reframe veganism in the most simple way by just saying, you know, look, veganism, it's not about being perfect, but it's about how can we live a life that reduces or aims to end the exploitation of other animals.
Yeah.
Or even like the word exploitation could be weird. You could say that just tries not to harm animals.
Yeah.
You know, just like keep it super simple and just be like, look, I was not vegan my whole life.
Right.
Like, I don't know. I saw, I had to look inward. I felt like a hypocrite, and like, here I am today. Like, trust me, I wish I could be out on a beach drinking a margarita. Like, the last thing I want to be doing is spending my Friday night here in the park talking to you about this. But like, look, it's very important. So just like reframing it and like coming across as a normal person. Like, we are just normal people.
Yes, please. If you're a normal vegan, show it. If you're a normal vegan, clap your hands. If you're a normal vegan, clap your hands. If you're a normal vegan and you really have the feeling, if you're a normal vegan, clap your hands. Literally.
I just don't want to hurt animals. I just don't want to suck people's nipples.
Okay, that's where we end right there.
You want to suck people's nipples?
No, I don't.
I'm saying animals are people. Like, animals are people too.
I know. I don't want to. I don't know nipples.
Ever?
No.
Why?
Nipples get stinky too. Like, if you, I don't know if you cleaned your nipples. Those get sweaty really quick.
I don't know who your nipples you're up and close personal with, but
None.
I've never been around stinky nipples.
I don't know anything about the body. I don't know. I mean, I'm very male forward. Anything about the female anatomy, I'm a woman, yes, but I'm always like, ew.
What? Are your nipples stinky?
No, but like, I'm not over here wanting people to like lick my nipples.
Really?
When I was younger. Now, I mean, now it depends, but like, I'm not like nipples.
Oh, I think it's hot.
No, it is. But Jamie goes down the rabbit hole. She's like, I say one thing, she's like, ding, 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 and I'm like, how do we get to like me not thinking, getting my nipples? I don't want to suck nipples. I don't want to do it. That's the point. I am not sucking anyone's nipples. Okay.
Thank you for the PSA.
Only my own.
Can you suck your own? I can. You can? You can reach it?
Yeah.
You can reach your nipple?
Yeah, I'm not going to show you right now, but yeah, totally.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like kind of a contortionist thing. That's like talent.
I can do a lot of weird things.
So you don't want to suck nipples unless they're your own?
Yeah. You can suck my nipples if I allow you to. But me, don't even. Listen, when I was born, I didn't even suck my mom's nipples. I said,
Really?
nah, bitch, I don't want that shit.
You didn't?
I didn't. I refused to breastfeed. I said, get that shit out of my mouth. What are you doing? I was like, get out.
Thank you for the historical context.
Yeah, fun fact. I said no to nipples
Some
from
people
the
never
from the
change.
get. I said no to nipples. But
Okay.
going back to what you were saying, I like to also just like let people know that I don't like the word vegan.
Oh.
I'm like, look, vegan is just a word.
Yeah.
It could go to the garbage, to be honest.
It means different things to different people too. Some people just think it's about eating carrots all day. Like,
Right. I'm
Yeah.
like, get that out of your head. It's just that I love animals so much. I don't want them to be abused in any capacity. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just love them. Like I go forward with my love for animals. What? You thinking about my nipples?
kind of.
You're like, after this, I want to see you suck your nipple.
The cameras have to go off for that.
Oh yeah, I'm not doing it on camera.
This is not a porno.
You have to pay me a lot of money. You have to pay me a lot of money to get me sucking my nipple on camera.
You are so talented.
I can be. Okay, really quick, Jamie. If someone says humans have always eaten meat, what is the strongest response? A, that's disgusting. B, tradition doesn't automatically make something ethical. C, well, animals eat animals too. Or D, because I said so.
The answer would be B, but I would rephrase it.
Okay.
So instead of saying,
Tradition doesn't automatically make something ethical.
I would ask them, do you think that tradition justifies our actions today? Or do you think that just because we've done something for a long time, that it's okay to continue doing it? Or something else that I like to do is I'll actually ask them more generally. I'll be like, can you think of a time in history where we thought a practice was okay,
Right,
that we now no longer accept?
Exactly. That is a really, really good one. That one always helps me feel more confident.
Thank you.
Number 2, someone says, well, plants feel pain. What's the most logical response? A, plants don't have a nervous system like animals. B, then we should eat animals instead. C, that's ridiculous. Or D, I never thought about that.
I would say A and C. Okay. I would say A and C are the answers. So plants don't have a central nervous system. And also, you could then phrase this as a question. So you could say a few different ways about going about this. But one way would be ask them flat out, like, do you think that your life is as valuable as a carrot?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because you are an animal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do you think that there's a difference between you and, let's say, like a broccoli?
But they will say there is a difference between me and a cow.
But the question is animals versus the plants. And then I'll ask, okay, what are those differences? And then they'll say, well, the ability to feel pain, like think,
Right.
have consciousness, that sort of thing. But okay, let's say they actually don't see the difference. If they truly do want to save plants, this is the hole that you could go down, the route that you could take, which is the animals eat the majority of plant crops grown. So if
Right.
we have like over 80 billion animals that we're breeding into existence and killing to process them into meat, you can then say, okay, well, those animals need to be fed. So if you really do care about saving plants, then you should definitely stop eating animals, because vegans consume less plants overall.
I've actually seen you say that on one of your videos. You're like, well, if you want to save plants, you should definitely go vegan.
Yes, you little plant activist. But then I'll also say to these people, I'm like, I find it really hard to believe that you care so much about plants if you don't care about animals.
Right.
You know? So
Yeah, makes no sense.
They think it's a got you moment, but really it's actually an argument to strengthen being vegan.
Exactly.
And this just goes to show the propaganda of like shows like Joe Rogan, where one of the guys gets on there and he was like, how many field rats and how many insects have to die for your plant crops and cultivation? And I'm like, this clip went so viral that literally it brainwashed most of the public to the point
and
where
it's like those bugs and all that stuff happen with the animals as well.
Right, but also like the point is I'm like, you're not just eating the one cow, you're eating the cow and all the animals that it took to grow food to feed that cow. And I think that there's an important distinction to make between intentionally, directly killing versus unintentionally.
Right, because we know for a fact that animals feel. Yeah. We know for a fact that plants don't feel. But it's like, it's clear the cow is going to start running and freaking out. The plant's not going to move.
I'm more so saying that, like, there's certain things that I do to live that I am not aware of that cause harm.
Yeah,
okay?
like when you walk.
But if somebody gave me an option to say, hey, Jamie, you could actually reduce the harm that you cause by doing this action, why wouldn't I do that?
Exactly.
And once I become aware of something, such as buying and eating meat hurts animals, I'm just no longer going to do that, especially when there is a viable solution or alternative.
So there's many alternatives.
There's so many.
Right. Okay, well, next question.
So this is, I just want to say, this is like the only test that I probably will like have ever passed it like 100% of my entire life.
I'm proud of you.
So keep it coming.
Okay. So someone says, it's my personal choice to eat animals. What's the best point to make? A, your choice only affects you. B, personal choices still affect other beings. C, you're wrong. D, okay, fine.
B, I would say that your personal choice affects others, and you could even take it a step further and say, like, okay, like just because this is a personal choice, why wouldn't you choose to be kind? Like, if you can choose, you have an option. Why wouldn't you choose kindness?
Exactly.
Like, why do you choose to be cruel? And like when we talk about personal choices, people make choices all the time that harm others.
Yeah.
Like.
And we judge them for that.
Yeah, and that doesn't make it okay.
Yeah.
You know, there's people that have a personal choice to like rape and to murder.
That was my first thought.
That's a choice that they made, but we should like challenge that, especially if somebody's being harmed by it.
Exactly.
And how personal is it if there's a victim?
It's not. I hate when people do that. I'm like, this is my business.
Yes, and your choice is actually harming me because the planet that I live on is being destroyed through your choices, and then my children and their children aren't going to be able to live here.
And if you get sick and I'm not eating it, I can still get sick because you're sick.
Yeah.
So like you were inconsiderate.
Yeah. So in our heads, we can be like yelling at them like this. Yeah. But you know what I would say? I'd be like, okay, yes, thank you for the question, darling. So I would just like urge you to consider.
Do as we say, not as we do.
We're just talking here to each other and to you guys, but like if I were actually responding to somebody, I would just say something along the lines of like, you know, you're right, like you have the choice,
right?
And with a choice, you have the power to choose kindness.
Power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
Bitch. Do you not know Spider-Man?
Right.
Okay.
And some people don't have a choice, right? Like let's say you're a 5-year-old and your parents will not buy you or feed you something, like that is different. But if you do have a choice, why
Make the kinder one?
Yeah. Why not choose the kinder one? Okay.
What if someone says, one person going vegan doesn't make a difference? What's your best response? A, it actually reduces demand over time. B, everyone else is doing it. C, you're a part of the problem. D, maybe you're right.
It's interesting because I think that you can answer this many different ways.
Right. But according to A, B, C, D.
A.
Okay.
I would say A would be the right answer of repeat the what the,
yeah, you've been getting these right, girl, because you're right. It doesn't have to just be one choice, but you're getting the best answer. You're choosing it.
I could argue
someone saying one person going vegan doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, and it decreases the demand over time for sure. And I think that like when we look at like what I would respond to that is like, well, look at other social justice movements. If MLK said he's just one person, we would still be facing many worse issues regarding civil rights today.
Right, you can't.
He made a huge difference.
Not have any goals. It's like you're not forward thinking.
Right,
you're okay with everything. And what if everyone was okay with that? With the way things were always. We are always trying to evolve and improve as a species. Why are we drawing the line to animal agriculture or animal rights. Like we need evolution when it comes to that.
Because it's convenient for them. But I think also that Margaret Mead quote speaks really nicely to this, which is never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. In fact, it is the only thing that ever has. And so the change starts with someone. And I like to empower people and say, like, just how I'm out here speaking to you, you are then going to go into your communities, share the information that you have, and then it's a domino effect.
Yeah.
And social change theory suggests that once a message reaches about 12% of the population, it's almost like a domino effect. So with the vegan movement, it's about 2% of the population, and it's growing, and that's still millions of people.
It's a lot.
It's a
I mean,
lot of
look
people.
at the shelves in the grocery stores. It's just clear as day that change has happened, and we cannot lose hope.
But I would also encourage, I might even say to that question.
There was not an E. What the hell? What's E?
I thought E was like, maybe you're right.
Oh, that's D.
D. Okay, so, well, I might even say to them, maybe you are right. Maybe me out here will have no impact whatsoever, but I try not to base my good intention, my action on only the outcome or result, because then I may not ever do anything.
Yeah, and you don't know what the result is.
No.
Because maybe it won't be any positive results in that moment, but you never know. Within a month, within a year, that person may very well be on their vegan journey.
Yes, okay. And it's not going to change the actions that I'm doing today. I'm still going to try my very best to end animal exploitation.
As you should. What if someone says, I love animals? What's the follow-up? What's a good follow-up question? A, which animals? B, why? C, do you think animals value their lives? Or D, prove it.
Proof is kind of good.
You're like, all of it.
Prove it. Why? I would say all of it. Yeah, tell me what animals do you like? Okay, why do you like them? Okay, do you think that we can love animals and eat them too? Like, what does love really mean? What does that look like? Okay, like you can go down the rabbit hole of it. And again, I want to just really strongly point out that being vegan doesn't mean that you love animals. It means that you just recognize that we should have basic respect for other animals.
Right.
That's it. You do not have to love animals to realize we shouldn't harm them.
Right. That's so true. That's so true.
That's
people, I think that stops people from like being like, I don't, in the back of their minds. No one really likes to say that they don't love animals, but they do feel the pressure of needing to love them and being such a animal lover in order to go vegan. But it's like, it's just respect. Totally. That's it. We don't have to be like this, even though I would be like this if I could be like this, but we don't have to in order to just live a peaceful life.
Yeah.
I don't know why people resist that.
And also I would actually compliment them and be like, wow, like that's amazing that you love animals and that you have that empathy. That says a lot about you.
Exactly.
Compliment them. And then you can say, okay, how do you apply that in your life? How do you apply this love in your life? Like, how do you decide what animals to love? And like, is there a difference between a pig and a dog?
Right.
In any way that really matters?
Yeah. And for me, I feel like recently, because I've been like diving deeper and deeper into what love means for me. And it just, when someone's like, I love animals. Well, we say that we love each other too. And I feel like what we really need to step back on is like, okay, if you love something, you do not cause pain, harm, suffering to them directly or indirectly to their face or behind their back. And that goes across all boards. And like people don't even do that for each other, for their own children, for their partners. And it's like, if we all can understand that love means it's outside of you, it's not conditional. We really like unconditional love, but we don't really understand what that means.
Right. Unconditional love is like without the conditions, like you just want the other person to be happy in whatever capacity that is. And animals that are having their throats slit are not happy.
They're not happy. They're not happy. No. So yeah, that's also a big one. Like when they're like, I love animals, the kindest way, ask them what their definition of love means to them, because maybe that could change their lives in so many different capacities, even with the type of love that they're accepting and receiving, so they could get a better understanding of how they approach love in their lives.
every situation and every interaction is going to be different. And so you have to gauge it. You can adjust your tone to make it slightly more aggressive, maybe less aggressive. Like
she's like, you can change your tone to be more aggressive.
Some people need it.
They do.
You know, and I kind of match people's energy a little bit, as you were saying, but still respectful and still like not telling them how they should feel, but instead asking the questions to reveal what they already feel and working with that. So I hope that today's episode was helpful for you. This is what we have learned through trial and error. And we're still always learning. When we crack the code as to like how to make every single person we meet to go vegan, we'll let you know.
For sure. And if you have the code, please comment down below on this episode if you're watching on YouTube. You could find our podcast on any streaming platform that has podcasts on them. And be sure to subscribe, like, share, tag us.
JSYK podcast on Instagram. I'm at It's Jamie's Corner.
I'm at Justina.Justina.
And you guys, you know the drill.
We'll be back.
We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back. We'll be back.